Hare Krishna. Welcome, welcome. We are on our deep dive into the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, first canto, chapter 2, Divinity and Divine Service. And we are just finishing the whole section from Shraddha to Prema. So this is the Vidyate Hridaya Grantis, break open the knots that are tying your heart down. So if you're watching on Facebook, you can direct message me or you can join our classes. We usually do this every Saturday at 10 o'clock. Okay, let me see. Let me open up the verse. This verse is actually repeated in the 11th canto. So here we are. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, first canto. I'll just do invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So here, scroll down. Text number, let me just use that little button. 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh my God, this is basically like 2/3 done, almost 2/3 done of the whole chapter. All right, here we go. I'll pull it up on the screen. Let me make this a little zoomed in so it appears nice and big. And then let me pull it up on, are there any commentaries we want to look at? And make that big also. Yeah, here, I can just put it on this. Share screen. Vidyate Hridaya Grantish Chijante Sarva Shamshayaha Kshiyante Chashakarmani Dishta Atmanishware. So thus the knot in the heart is pierced. I looked up this word vidyate. Oftentimes what you'll see is here Prabhupada uses the word pierced because like you have like more like a visual of the knot, like how you kind of take open a knot. The other ways I see this word used is to like break open, to bifurcate, to divide. So you have this knot and you're breaking the knot open. And what is this knot? The knot in the heart is called ahankar. What does aham mean? Aham means I. Kar, I am this car, I am this body. Ahankara, kara actually relates to the word karta, to do, karma. I am the doer, I am this body, and everything that happens is, I am making it happen. And we're not really actually seeing the proper picture. Vidyate hridaya grantis. So the knot in the heart becomes pierced. Chidyante. This is cutting. Chidyante sarva shamshayaha. So vidyante, you'll notice that just to help you, because this may be an easy mispronunciation, is that the ones below have a N in it. This is vidyate, but this is chidyante and shiyante. And that's because this N is signifying something plural. So you've got one big knot in our hearts. We have a lot of misconceptions, and we have a lot of karma. So that's why it's vidyate, not vidyante. Vidyate, chidyante. This has the N in it. Chidyante. And shiyante. Shiyante. Chasya karmani. Drishta. And maybe we remember this word, drishta. Where have we seen this word? I don't know if we've seen it in this chapter, but drishta means to see. Drishtaiva atmanishware. Atma, the self, is actually Ishvara. So we're going to see. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced, and all misgivings are cut to pieces, and the chain of fruit of action is terminated when one sees the self as master. So we'll read a little bit of the purport here. Attaining scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead means seeing one's own self simultaneously, as far as identifying the living being as the spirit self is concerned. There are a number of speculations and misgivings. So you have the materialist. He doesn't believe in the existence of the spirit self. And then you have the empiric philosophers who believe in the impersonal feature of the whole spirit without the individuality of living beings. But the transcendentalists affirm that the soul and the supersoul are two different identities, qualitatively one, but quantitatively different. There are many theories, but all these different speculations are at once cleared off as soon as Krishna is realized in truth by the process of bhakti yoga. Krishna is the sun, and materialistic speculations about the absolute truth are like the darkest midnight. As soon as the sun is risen within one's heart, the darkness of materialist speculations about the absolute truth and living entities is once cleared off. In the presence of the sun, the darkness cannot stand, and the relative truths that were hidden within the darkness of ignorance become clearly manifested by the mercy of Krishna residing within everyone's heart. So here we have this beautiful analogy. If you're in great darkness, like I was just listening to Brahmapad Swami give a lecture on this verse, and he said that he was talking to some of the devotees that were on the youth bus tour, and they went to this one cave, and it's like a kind of like a tourist, I think it's called Mammoth Caves, and so it's very beautiful. But you go in and it's lit up, and then part of the tour is at some point they ask they're going to tell everybody, okay, we're going to shut all the lights off so that people can experience how blackening, how darkening is the cave. And so they turn off the lights, you can't see anything, and then they turn back on. So when you have the lights off, you can't see others, you can't see yourself. You don't have a clear picture of anything, what's going on. Just like that's why when you have like a haunted house, it's very dark. You have a haunted house and you have grapes, like it's just the eyeballs, or you have like you just have all kinds of things that in the full light they don't seem so scary, but a little bit of darkness, it's kind of fearsome. Therefore, the material world has this quality of bhaya, fear. But when there is light, there's no more bhaya, because we actually see our actual situation. What we are is eternal. We can't be killed. We cannot be cut to pieces by any weapon. We cannot be burnt by fire. We cannot be moistened by water withered by the wind. Now, a lot of these things that Krishna is saying is also in relation to the Vedic weapons, which are different from the modern weapons. They had all these weapons in the ancient Mahabharata and Ramayana, where they weren't just fire-based weapons like we mostly have, like these kind of projectiles and bombs and stuff, but they had weapons that were water-based weapons or earth-based weapons. So he says, you not be moistened by water, withered by the wind, such. And so the soul is actually unaffected by any of these weapons. And so he has been tied up with this grand very strong knot. And what is that knot? That is the knot of sexual desire. All kinds of desires, but that would be the strongest. The first, the living entity wants a mate, then he wants a home, then he wants some friends, then he wants some money, then he wants some prestige, then he wants a yard, then he wants a bigger yard, then he wants a car, then he wants a bigger car, then he wants a better car than the neighbor, and on and on and on and on again. So his desire, it's all, different manifestations of an extension of form, ahamkar, or what is called I and mine. Mama, what is it? Aham mama, I and mine. We extend out, extend out, extend out. But there's a sense of dissatisfaction because there's only so far we can extend. We can maybe take over a country, take over the world, and still we're dissatisfied. So this ahankar is actually a big chain. It is a big burden. It is karshati. It is something that we're struggling with. Krishna describes in chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita. He says, what is that we are struggling with the mind, and since manasastandri and jnani prakritishtani karshati, and this is also the ahankar, which is putting it all together. So we're struggling, trying to enjoy this world, and it has become a great burden. It's actually a deep, really strong knot, but the knot is actually something that we're wrapped ourselves in. And so with the help of Krishna, it has become unwrapped. Actually, our knot can also be compared to the attachment. Oh, we have Carmen coming in. It's due to long-term conditionings. Like once there was a circus in India, and although all the animals were locked up in cages and pens, there was actually a great fire, and every single animal found its way to escape. And except for one animal, and that was the mighty elephant. And this mighty elephant was tied up with a tiny little rope around his leg, which was, elephants actually rip up trees. They can, tear trees apart. They can uproot trees. They can flip trucks and cars. So when this elephant was captured, when it was really young, it was captured by some hunters. It was sold to the circus. He was chained, when he was really small, he was chained to a large tree, and he had a chain on his leg, and he fought day after day for about a week or so, and his little foot was all bloodied. And but eventually, as he grew older, they did not use a chain. They actually just used a rope. And that had become so strong within his consciousness that he was actually tied, not by the rope, but by that impression in his mind. So similarly, we are tied down by false perceptions of ourselves. And they're heavily tying us down, but they're actually not really holding us. Like the rope was not really holding the elephant. It really had no hold on the elephant. So similarly, we're being tied down by strong, deep impressions. And so the deepest is what is called the ahankar, our sense of identity. So you have three aspects. You have your of the subtle body. First, you have your gross body, which is bhumi, apo, nalu, bhayu, kam, madabhudir. So you have the gross elements, that things that can be seen, that have have the visual element, the tactile element. You have the fragrance, or the element of fragrance. All these gross elements have a certain sensory perception that are connected to. So you have earth, water, fire, air, ether. So you have fire, you have light, you have vision that's associated with earth, you have fragrance. With air, which you cannot see, you can feel. You have the tactile sense of perception. You have water, you have the sense of taste, and space, you have the sense of sound. And this is related to subtle sound. But then behind the physical side of the body, which is something you can see someone's body, or a body can taste, or bodies have taste, bodies have form, bodies have sounds. But beyond that is the subtle body. So not the Shukshma Sharira, but the Anta Sharira, the internal body, the internal kosha, internal covering. So that is the mind, intelligence, and the false ego. So the mind is this thing that says, I like this, I don't like this. Then you have this sense of intelligence, which is beyond what is liked and disliked, a sense of what's long-term benefit. And then there's the overall programming that causes a living entity to identify with the body and the mind. That is called ahankar, the false sense of ego. Sometimes in the West we just use the word ego, but this is indicating that we actually do have an identity beyond this gross physical and subtle body. We have our own identity. So this is called the false sense of ego. And so this false sense of ego at this great stage of bhakti, which is described in this verse, is vidyate. It is broken up, this knot that is holding this, like that, this knot in the mind of the poor elephant that was burned up in the fire, because he could not even think that he could pull that rope out, that is tied to a little stump, little tiny rope, when he can actually lift up trees in this adult body, uproot trees. So similarly, the living entity is tied up in this way, but that becomes broken up, that knot. And then vidyate hridaya grantis. Hridaya means hrida, heart. Grantis, I don't know what that word is. We have to look it up. Chidyante, sarva shamshaya. We might have seen this word. Perhaps in this chapter, definitely in previous chapters that we've covered. Shamshaya is doubt. Here, the word that's being used is misgivings. So let's take a look at the verse again. Let me open it up. Let's see, chapter 2. Vidyate hridaya grantis. What is granti? Granti, oh, granta. Granti is, knots. We've covered this in some other, let's see. Where have we had? Let's take away it. Purports, Devanagari, and then we might come across it. I think I know it. Chindanti. Here, this is cutting right here. Chindanti. Karma Granti, right here. The knot of karma. By remembering Krishna, this that actually causes the knot of karma to be cut. And so this is given conclusion in this verse. Remember, there are actually different forms of karma. You have your reactions. You have your kind of really subtle, you have like seeds that are not even, that are really in the subconscious, that are not even manifesting. You have seeds that are sprouting, but are not actually fructifying yet. And then you also have the effects of karma giving what is called kutam or hutam, which gives you a tendency to behave in a certain the way that is related to that karmic action. Like the thief who steals will have the tendency to steal again. You develop this kind of thieving tendency. But then you have the karma that's already manifested. Like the karma that you have blue eyes or brown hair, or the karma that you have, you're 5'7" or 5'3". That's a particular karma. And actually here it's saying all of that karma. This is a really advanced stage. We're coming to here. This is atadarshanam. This is actually when you're seeing Krishna within your heart or face to face. When you come to bhava, then prema, all your karma is being destroyed. Even the subtle body is being destroyed. And that's described here in this third canto, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Jarayati ashu yat kosham. Remember, kosha is like the covering. Near grinam analoyataha. So so bhakti, the devotional service, dissolves the subtle body. So what is the subtle body again? Mind, intelligence, and false ego. So it dissolves away the material mind, the material intelligence, and the material sense of ego without separate effort. Just like fire, the digestive fire dissolves all that we eat, digest everything that we eat. So isn't that interesting? So it happens. It's not that the devotee, when it comes to this higher stage, in the earlier stages, the devotee may be looking at one's desires and trying to purify the mind and heart. But here, the point where they're seeing Krishna, the subtle body is being dissolved without a separate endeavor. It's just by the connection to Krishna. Let's see, what is this verse here? 7:5:14. Why do we have this verse? And so this happens here. You have this word vidyate. But as Prahlad Maharaj is saying, as iron is attracted by a magnetic stone, automatically moves towards the magnet. My consciousness has been changed by his will and is attracted by Lord Vishnu, who carries a disc in his hand. Thus I have no independence. So this is how the ahankar becomes destroyed. Vidyate hidaya grantis. So the knot in the heart becomes pierced or pulled up, sort of torn apart, and is cut. All the doubts are cut. Shamshaya. I'm sure. Shamshaya. Let's see. You can click on it. All doubts, misgivings. But if we just take out Shamshai and just look up contains, I'm sure we will get a lot of Bhagavatam, first canto. Okay, let's just look at Gita. I know we this word Shamshaya, Bhagavad Gita Shamshaya, without a doubt. We did that previously. Dana K, we did that one. Maya Shakta Manaparta Yogam Yunja Manashaya Shamshaya. Without a doubt. And what else? Any other famous? Anything that we covered? Chapter 10, I remember this one. Many times you see this Shamshaya. You see how it's used a lot. So everything becomes clear. Just like once the sun is arisen, like we said in the cave, you can't see anything. But once the sun is arisen, you can see yourself, you can see your friends, and you can see the sun. So once the sun-like Lord has arisen within your heart, everything becomes clear. And it says unlimited. Oh, okay. Your meeting will end in 10 minutes. Okay, me and Dana K and I, we share a license, and I passed it to her. We do like kind of a basketball pass. I share it to her. She shares it back to me, and I just got this note that's saying, so I have to grab the license. So let's go. Let's continue on, and then maybe we can. We'll see what happens. Shiante, shiante. You can practice saying this word. Shiante, shiante, cheshakarmani. This means completely destroyed. Not like in the previous. What is this? Nashta prayeshu. Nashta means destroyed. Prayeshu almost all. Like you blow up a house. A house burns down, and there's still ash, and there's still, but this is shiante, means nothing's left. It's all completely cleared up. So the heart, this ahankara in the heart is broke open. The doubts become destroyed, and shiante, the karma, is completely wiped out. And this is specifically talking about coming to the stage of actually atadarshanam, where you're actually having vision, your drishta, you're actually seeing Krishna. Now, if we click on any of one of these words, we're going to see that this verse is repeated in the 11th canto, the whole verse, except for the last line. It's written slightly differently, but not much difference. Vidyate hidaya grantis, chidyante sarva shamshayaha, Kshiyante chasya karamani, maya drishte, akilatmani. So akila, heart is not the heart is pierced, the doubts are cut, the karma is destroyed when I am seen as the complete Supreme Personality of God. So slight difference here. Okay, we'll read the purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 10:11. Okay, let's just talk. Let me bring up that verse. There's verse 10:10. It's a very cool verse. I will. 1 second. I'll turn this off, and I will try to pass the license over. So 10:10 is Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Tadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yenamam Upayanti Te. So this is Tesham, means those. This is a verse right here, this 10:10. Actually, this is part of what is called the Chatur Shloki, the 4 verses that sum up the entire Bhagavad Gita. And so this is the third of the 4 verses. And in these verses, especially this verse, it's really this. You can translate the verse without if you just know what the words mean. You don't need to know any grammar, because the words kind of just line up the same way they would line up in English practically, except for maybe like the last line. And I'm passing the license over as we speak. I don't know if Zoom will, if we'll have to restart or not. Okay, I am now licensed. Tesham satata yuktanam, to those who are always engaged, bhajatam priti purvakam, in loving devotional service. Dadami, like we have the Spanish dar, dadami, I give, buddhi, intelligence, yena, by which, upayanti te, they can come back to me. So those who are always engaged in loving devotional service. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, I pass a license to myself. Let me mute it because it says we have 5 minutes remaining. Now, if I join the group as Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I think we worked last time when we did this one. We forgot that the license wasn't there. Okay, I'm going to Ramananda? Say hi to Draupadi.
You can.
Yeah, say hi. I will.
Some stuff. Hi, Will Ramananda.
Hey, come on, get in the camera.
I stole your sister's shirt like that because she left it at my house. So now I brought it here. And it's mine.
Nice. That's a good one. It's like an AC/DC shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. I've gotten some compliments on it.
Yeah. When are you coming to New York?
I don't know. I'm actually about to go on this bus trip. And I think it goes to New York at some point. So I'm not sure, but I'll check.
Oh yeah, you do. You come for one day. You come for one day, yeah.
Yeah, I'm only going for the second half, so
We'll
I need to make sure that I'm on it when we go to New York. But yeah.
Ramananda's going to Canada on the bus.
Wow. Oh, nice.
So I think we're now all set. It didn't get messed up from now where I have the license.
Yeah, they were like
it's working good. I had to juggle between two Zooms to keep it with, because it was about to shut off, and I had to like pass the license back into my account and restart it. So everything good? Do you miss your brother?
Oh, me? Yeah, it's good. I saw him like 3 days ago. So, and we actually see each other a little often because the Christian houses are near each other. So we see each other like pretty often. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I saw his wig video. That was good.
Oh, his videos?
With the wig?
Oh my God. I actually bought them that wig specifically for videos like that. I told them I'm going to buy you this wig because it was like $2 at this little sale. And like, I expect to see more meme videos with this.
Nice.
Specifically of just Jumna. So that was good. Yeah.
Nice. So do you have have you seen the verse that we're looking at? Anything you want to say?
Me? I was in the shower. I just came for the last day. Yeah. Yeah, it's this one. Oh, that's a nice verse.
So this is at like the final stage. Everything's cut up. The ahankara is completely taken apart. Your any doubts, any kind of misunderstandings are cut up, and your karma is completely destroyed, and you see the soul, and you see Krishna. And so let me just go down to the purport. We were at this. So Prabhupada's quoting 10:10. So the 10:11. 10:10 is saying that if you serve Krishna, he gives you knowledge. 10:11 says how he does it. It says, I'm in everyone's heart, and I destroy the darkness of ignorance with the shining torch of knowledge. That's this verse here. He eradicates the dense darkness by switching on the light of pure knowledge within the heart of the devotee. So one of the points of this verse is you don't need to be a scholar to be free from ignorance. You just need Krishna, because he is the light illuminating the heart of his devotee. Everything becomes clear and very. So this process is helped by the super soul within such devotees. Even Brahma, he was able to do so many things because he took shelter of Krishna, and Krishna enlightened him with in his heart. And so then the last part of the purport, this enlightenment perfectly enables the devotee to distinguish matter from spirit, because of the knot of spirit and matter is untied by the Lord. This knot is called ahankar, and it falsely obliges the living entity to become identified with matter. As soon as a knot is loosened, therefore, all the clouds of doubt are at once cleared off. One sees his master and fully engages himself in the trance of loving service of the Lord, making a full determination termination of the chain of fruit of action. So full, that's Shiante Cheshakarme. Karma is all caught away. In material existence, the living entity creates his own chain of fruit of our karma and enjoys he receives or the good and bad effects of those actions life after life. But as soon as he engages himself in loving devotional service to the Lord, he once becomes freed from the chain of karma. His actions no longer create reaction. So, any questions or comments?
I got one. What's it called? For the last part of the translation, when I read like sees the self as master, I was a little like bewildered for a sec. I was like, wait. I was like, but we ain't the doer. I was like, why would we try to see ourselves as master? But then like, yeah, the purport explained. I was thinking like it's our choice. Like it's our choice to go to Krishna or not go to Krishna. So there's a point where we have to see ourselves as able to do that. Like follow our spiritual master and then become one ourselves. Like for ourselves.
Nice. Yeah, instead of being just pushed around by your karmas like a bully.
Yeah.
Just like they're all pushing you.
Yeah.
Nice. There's
Nice.
another one earlier when you were like explaining the different kinds of like karmas and different like gross subtle things like the body, mind, ego, and so on and so forth. You were explaining at the time like the chain and the elephant scenario, and
yes.
You said something like, I forgot the exact word, but it kind of like just brought me so much relief. Like, yeah, you're right. I'm not this anxiety that I feel at times. I'm not, like these emotions. I am the soul.
Very nice.
So it was like nice to hear.
And it all becomes, and when we come to see Krishna, then it becomes, all of that becomes very clear. It's not just a convincing. We actually, like, it all becomes just like, when you're in the light, everything's clear then. It's like, oh, yes, it's not that I have to convince, I'm not this body. You just see it. You see everything. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
It's definitely nice, like, for sure, to like have these classes, because like, for example, like hearing that gives me a little bit more confidence to like go out to do book distribution or something. It's like, we are not this body and we're like spreading this knowledge and so on and so forth. So it's just, my heart feels like it's lighting up a little bit just hearing that.
Nice. Yeah. Krishna will help you.
Thank you.
So this is the last part here. This is from Burjan Prabhu's study guide, and he's referring to. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur shows how all these verses go from the bottom stage, from the beginning stage of Shraddha, all the way to Prema, in that book Madhurya Kadambini, and also in just his commentary on Bhagavatam. And he also further divides it not just to 9, but actually 14 steps, 14 stages that we go through. And so here is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments on the word Drishta Evatmaneshware in Bhagavatam, referring to the 13th stage of Bhakti, seeing the Lord directly, as mentioned before in his commentary on verse 21. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur presents a verse that contains 14 steps, a progression with direct experience. So that the last stage is not actually even seeing Krishna. The last stage is experiencing Krishna's sweetness. These stages, along with the relationships between the stages and the words and the phrases. So these are lined up with all the verses that we've done. So how does it come? How do you get bhakti? Satam kripa, by the mercy of devotees. Maybe you got bhakti in this life. Maybe you started your journey into Krishna consciousness in this life. Maybe it came from the past life, but it all started somehow with the mercy of the devotees. And then how did you grow in bhakti? How did you somehow must have done some service somehow, Mahat Seva. Then you develop some shraddha, some interest, some faith, some eagerness. This is a kind of it's a little bit different from the 9 stages of bhakti. Then it goes from there. You're engaging in devotional service, and then you want to take shelter of a teacher. And then there you really get connected in worship through the shelter of the teacher. Bhajaneshu spriha. Then comes experience of devotion. Then comes anartha apagama, anartha nivritti, a disappearance of the obstacles. Then steadiness, this unshakable resolve. Then we discuss all these things: ruchi, taste, and addiction, attachment, and deep fondness, attraction, prema. Then this is the goal: love and devotion. But even after that, then you actually get what is called darshan, ata darshanam. My screen froze for a second. And then you experience the direct sweetness of Krishna. So that's the previous verse, and this verse is talking about the experience of darshan with Krishna, drishta. And so then the next verses are going to conclude that Hari, Lord Hari, Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, is the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, and he's basically the only object of our devotion. Even regards to his other forms, he is our object. Now, Krishna has many different forms, but this is our highest object of affection. Actually, Krishna has a specific type of charm. Let me ask a question. Is Draupadi still there? I have a question for her.
Oh, she has one for you too. Oh, wait, what? Okay, you ask your question first. I had a point.
Okay, did Hiranyakashipu get liberated when Nrsingadev killed him?
He took another birth after that.
Yeah, he didn't get liberated.
Yeah, he took one more birth.
And I'll explain why, but you give your question and then we'll continue on.
It wasn't really a question. It was just like another point, like finding the text. Same part, like when one sees the self as the master. One of my gurus always talks about this time in Mayapur. Prabhupada was talking about like how many people in our movement do we have? He was like 10,000. And then he was like, each one of those has 10 disciples, 100,000. And then like 1 million, and then 10 million. And he went into like an ecstatic trance in public. It was like one of the rare times. So he like always remembers that, and he always encourages like in every class he can, at the end of it, he brings up like, you can become a guru, or by doing this, you are actually someone's guru. Like you're not Diksha guru, but you are a guru. So like when one sees the self as the master, it's like realizing you can also do that. Made me think of that. Like there will come a stage in your devotional life that you need to see yourself as a master and able to pass it on to other people. Like realize you can also become an acharya. It's like, it's a stage. It's not like thinking yourself as like all high and mighty, like I'm the guru. It's like, no, I've been around. I know enough. It's time for me to share. So that's what I'm talking about.
Actually, what you said reminds me of just one of the lines in the commentary. Here, let's see. So this is a stage of like, you just really have a great eagerness, a greed. Actually, that's how you want, if you want to get bhakti, Ramananda Roy says, there's only one price, and that's greed. Really, really want to have it. And then he says, where is it? Where is this part? Basically, he says, okay, there's a certain humility the devotee feels kind of unqualified, but he still has a greed, and that kind of greed, let me see, unqualified. Oh, I've got too many things running. Unqualified. Nope. How about, oh my God, I just jumped out of it. Okay. Where is it? Somewhere here. No, it's passed out. It's okay. Disqualifications are shredded. Dun, dun, dun. Basically, yeah, there's somewhere here it says it's like he feels like he's even there, because there's a great humility that overcomes a devotee at this stage, but also he will still his interest in serving Krishna is so strong that he will do so even though he feels disqualified. So he may feel disqualified in being an acharya, but his interest in serving Krishna and that in being of service to Krishna is so strong that it will overcome his feeling of humility. That was something else I was going to say. I forget the other thing. What was it then? All right, let's practice the verse. Oh, I was going to explain. Oh, why did Nrsingadev? Remember Nrsingadev?
Yeah, why didn't they get liberated immediately?
Okay, so there are different kinds of avatars. There's in Laghu Bhagavatamrita there's called Avesh, Prabhav, Vaibhav, Avashta, and Paravashta. So Avesh is sometimes called, in the book it's called a surrogate avatar. Avesh is like Shakti Vesh, when like a soul is being empowered by Krishna. Prabhav is not an empowerment, but it's an incarnation, an avatar, but it's that avatar is not exhibiting the full power. Maybe like you have there's an avatar called Hamsa avatar. He appears as a swan and he speaks Vedas to the 4 Kumaras, but he's not like displaying all the power and opulence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's just giving speaking some spiritual knowledge. So then there's Vaibhav Avashta. Well, there's a little bit more, but it's still not the same as the called Paravasta. So the Paravasta forms are the forms where all the 6 opulences, the 6 qualities of the Lord are fully manifest. And there's another book called the Garga Samhita, which says the same thing, describes different kinds of avatars. And then it describes that there are 3 forms which these things are fully manifest. Those are Nrsingadev, Lord Ramachandra, and Krishna. You'll find that Prabhupada talks about all 3 many times in the purport. These 3 very special. So Nrsingadev, Ramachandra, and Krishna. So it's not that they're different people. This is the same person. So why did Nrsingadev, when Hiranyakashipu got killed, he didn't get liberated. He came back as Ravana. And then when Ravana was killed, he didn't get liberated. He came back as Shishupal. But Shishupal, every person in the assembly saw that Shishupal merged into the body of Krishna. So Krishna has a special kind of charming feature that when Hiranyakashipu was killed by Nrsingadev, he didn't see Nrsingadev as a lord. He thought it was like some magnificent being, and he wasn't intoxicatingly addicted or obsessed with him. Then you saw even Ram. He thought he was a super powerful being, and he wasn't intoxicatingly obsessed with him. But Shishupal, was obsessed with Krishna. Shishupal was like, Krishna this, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna that, Krishna, Krishna. He was just like obsessed with Krishna. And he was just talking about Krishna. And he gave, like, remember, Krishna told his mother that he was told when he was born, he was born with a very hideous body. And a sage told the mother, he said, whoever's lap you put this child on, and he transforms into a beautiful body, that person will, he will transform into a beautiful body, but in the future that person will kill him. And so she would put the child on different laps, and then she put the child on Krishna's lap. The child turned very beautiful, and she said, "Oh, Krishna, don't kill my child." She said, I would forgive your child 100 insults. And therefore, at the what is this Rajasuya Yajna, where they decided, let's have Krishna, we will figure out who's the person that we're going to honor in the Rajasuya Yajna. We're going to honor Krishna. And therefore, Shishupal just went insane. He was like, Krishna this, Krishna that, Krishna, 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 Krishna. And then he was killed with the Sudarshan chakra, and then everyone saw the soul merge into the body of Krishna. And then Shukadev Goswami describes, he says, or Shukadev Goswami or Narada Muni says, actually, yeah, hate is a pretty strong emotion, and he had hate, but he was completely madly absorbed. So Krishna has this feature that he just gets people obsessed with him. He has a special feature. Even like Kaliya, when Kaliya came out of the water. So Kaliya, he came out of the water. Krishna went and he slapped his shoulders, tied his belt, and he went off the diving board of that big Kadamba. Was it Kadamba? I can't remember what kind of tree it was. And he jumped off the branch, dived into the water, and he was making big waves. His big splash of even entering the water was huge. And just to upset Kali, Kali came up and he was like, and he was like, damn, Krishna's beautiful. But I don't like this guy. He's in my plate. He's in my water. Get out of here. But when he saw Krishna, he was like, whoa, man, he's beautiful. So Krishna has that special quality of charm. And because of that charm and attraction, that absorption, the person becomes liberated by connecting with Krishna. Or to speak of connecting Krishna favorably, hopefully we can have more love than Shishupal had hate. So just wanted to share that. Let me go again, and we'll practice the verse. Vidyate hridaya grantish chidyante sarva shamshayaha. Oh, questions there? Give your question. Give your comment.
Okay, but what about Jagai and Madai?
Jagai and Madai, that was a special. Yeah, they came back for a special. They became devotees in that life. But
yeah, Shishupal merged and then he came back?
Yeah, liberation is actually, he didn't become a devotee. Liberation is a stage before becoming a devotee. All the jnanis and yogis are trying for liberation, but what's even higher is becoming a bhakta. So he has achieved the culmination of that desire by becoming the devotee of Krishna.
So he took a nap in Brahman, then came back down.
Yes.
Okay,
exactly.
Interesting.
And it's described, it's in the Bhagavatam, that its soul goes to the Brahmajyoti, merges into the body of the absolute. It's not guaranteed that it'll stay there, because the soul's nature is to want to socialize. And if it doesn't have some kind of spiritual relationship, it will go for some kind of material relationship. So, Jagai Madai, final And even Kamsa came back as Chankazi, became great devotee. And you see, Kamsa, what was he? He was also obsessed. Krishna, 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 the angel of death. The death is coming for me. Vidyate Hridaya Grantis. So here we got your toothpick. Vidyate Hridaya Grantis. So you got to pierce the knot in the heart. And then what is this? Chidjante Sarva. How should we act out doubts, misgivings, misconceptions, illusion? What's the visual enactment of that?
Possibly like covering your face with like both hands, like doubt, misgivings.
We can't see your video.
Huh?
We can't see your video.
No, my hair's all crazy.
All right. So Chidyante Sarva Shamshaya. Everyone can make up their own. Shiante. Now this is like Shiante. This K is kind of like a Shiante. Shiante. Like Kshatriya. 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 Kshetra. A little bit of a kind of K stop. That's how the word starts. Kshatriya. Kshiante. Chashakarmani. Kshiante. Kshiante. Chashakarmani. So completely, utterly, completely gone, all karma gone. Drishta evatmanishvare. Vidyate hridaya grantish. Chidyante sarvashamshayaha. Someone can read it off. Carmen, can you do the first two lines?
Yeah. Vidyate hridaya gratish chedyate sarva samshayaha.
Vidyate hridaya grantish chidyante sarva samshayaha. Dana K, can you give it a shot?
Oh my. Vidyante hridaya.
The first one doesn't have an N in it.
Vidyate. Vidyate?
Yeah, vidyate.
Hridaya Prantish Chidyante Sarvasamshayaha.
Very nice. Vidyate hridaya grantish chidyante sarva samshayaha. How about Draupadi? Does she want to give a reading?
Yes. She's coming. Yes.
I'll look at it. I don't know if I want to read it yet.
No, you're reading.
What?
You're the women's ashram leader.
Don't mean I studied the verse. Okay.
You gotta teach me.
Okay, wait. You say it once and then I can try.
Vidyate hridaya grantish.
Vidyate hridaya grantish. Chidyante
sarva samshayaha. Vidyate hridaya grantish.
Vidyate hridaya grantish.
Chidyante sarva samshayaha.
Chidyante sarva samshayaha.
Vidyate hridaya grantish.
Vidyate hridaya grantish.
Chidyante sarva samshayaha.
Chidyante sarva samshayaha.
Chidyante. Where, Draupadi, who in yours, amongst your siblings, we did a shloka class many years ago. I don't know if it was you or if it was Chakra. Might have been Chakra and or Singha. Was it you? Were you too young?
I got no clue. Even if it was me, I'm not sure I'd remember.
Okay, it was like chapter 15. I think it was like your older sibling who did it.
Yeah, maybe.
Vidyate hridaya grantish
Vidyate hridaya grantish.
chidyante sarva samshayaha.
Chidyante sarva samshayah.
So chidyante, the doubts, the shamshayas, all sarva shamshayas, all the doubts cut to pieces. Shriyante chasya karmani.
Shriyante chasya karmani.
All your karmas are completely terminated. Terminated. Shriyante chasya karmani.
Shriyante chasya karmani.
Drishta evatmanishvare.
Drishta evatmanashvare.
Drishta
Manishvare.
eva atmanishvare.
Drishta evatmanishvare.
Shriyante chasya karmani.
Shriyante chasya karmani.
Drishta evatmanishvare.
Drishta evatmanishvare.
Drishta evatmanishvare.
Oh. She's answering the doors. Hi. Okay. Drishta ev atmaneshvare.
Okay. Dana K, you want to give it a shot?
Sishyante chasya karmani. Sorry.
Shriyante chasya karmani.
Drishta eva manishvare.
Drishta evatmani. What is it? Shriyante chasya karmani.
Sishyante chasya karmani.
Drishta evatmanishvare.
Drishta eva manishvare.
Drishta means to see, the seer. Drashtu, drishta. I don't know what other verses we've covered that maybe had this word. You can look at it, see if they're drishte, drishta. Let's see, let's take drishte to drishta. And we'll put contains. Let's see. Vidrish and Bhagavad Gita, maybe. Everything is slowing down, closing some stuff. It's been slow.
Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. So how would you do the like hand movements for like the first portion? Like you did it earlier,
Okay.
but I don't remember how you did it.
Well, I had a toothpick in my hand, so I pierced the heart, the knot in the heart. Cut that knot out. Now that's how do you say you have like a chain tangled up or a heavy knot? You have to like pierce. You have to like, you ever like have some clothing and the knot gets really, really tight. That's really hard to undo. So you have to somehow pierce it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Vidyate, hridaya granti. So granti is a knot. Chidyante is cut to pieces. Cut to pieces. Sarva shamshaya, all the doubts. Completely terminated. You can be like a, I don't know, Terminator. I don't know. All your karmas are just like completely wiped to nothing. Just like, remember, what was the example? When you eat food, the food is the fire of digestion dissolves everything, and so all the karma becomes dissolved by the process of bhakti. Even the karma of your present body, the great devotee will become completely spiritualized. The body will not be considered even a karmic body. Therefore, they can do amazing things. Haridas Thakur, he could, they tried to kill him. They could not kill him. Jesus Christ, they tried to kill him. They couldn't kill him. Some people would say he died. He just couldn't be killed. He didn't come back to life. You just can't kill him. That was the thing. They stuck his body. They poked his body with a knife, and blood came out. So blood doesn't come out of a dead body, but he didn't die. You just can't kill him. He's mystical. Haridas Thakur, they thrashed his body. After what would be one or two, or maybe perhaps 3 marketplaces, the person survived. And they went through 21 marketplaces trying to kill this man, taking him to one place and beating him crazy and taking him to another place. And usually by the 3rd place, he dies. But they couldn't kill him. He had no marks on his body. Nothing would hurt him. And then the soldiers were crying, if you don't die, we will die. And the king will kill us. And what about our families? And he said, I'm so sorry to cause you trouble. And then he just died right there. His heart stopped. His body turned cold, manifested no symptoms of life. And they threw his body in the Ganga. They didn't want to honor him as a Muslim by burying him. They didn't want to honor him as a Hindu by cremating him. So they threw his body. And then some miles later, he walked out of the Ganga and went to see the king. And the king apologized and said, I'll leave you alone. So, Chiyante Chasya Karamani Trishta Evatmanishware. Trishta Evatmanishware.
Prabhu, I have
Yes.
another question. So, Chidyanti is cut, but Chindanti is also cut?
Yeah, these are all the same roots, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Chindanti, Chindi, Chindi. Remember that sometimes you hear that in the play. Chindi, Chindi, all the demons are running around Prahlad saying, cut, pierce, kill.
I can imagine that.
Chindanti, Drishta Evatmanishware. Okay, so I think we are done here. Thank you very much, everyone, for your participation. And for whoever's watching online, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any last comments or any last reflections? We are going to head over to what is called the navigate part, where we have the acronym for the chapter is DIVINE. So D is for dignify. First 5 verses are glorifying the question. It's glorifying the Guru, Sukadeva Goswami. It's glorifying the assembly and the whole question and pursuit for higher knowledge. Then I stands for the inquiries that are answered, the questions of the first chapter of the Bhagavatam, which are answered by Savai Pumsam and Vasudevi Bhagavati. And then DIV, then what is valuable? What is of value was the question. What is the highest, most important dharmic action? And so bhakti is contrasted amongst everything else. So DIV, and then the next DIVI is increments. And so we went through the stages of bhakti, from Shraddha to Prema. Then N again is for navigate. So now we're going to hear about the great Ishvaras of this world, the Lord Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, and understand what are their positions in relation to the Supreme Person. How do we understand all these personalities? And then even the expansions, that's E, D-I-V-I-N-E is the expansions. So you have the Purusha avatars, the super soul of the universe, the super soul within everyone's, the super soul of the entire Mahatattva, the Garbhodaksha, Karanadaksha Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and Shudaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, the super soul in everyone's heart. And so then that, the acronym for the whole chapter becomes divine. Like the chapter's name, Divinity and Divine Service. So Om Tat Sat. Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Haribo, Haribo.